Hi there, we're back on the 67 Hail Hail channel on YouTube. I've got John McGinley here, Celtic legend Jackie McNamara joining us yet again, and we're going to look ahead to Saturday 3 o'clock when Celtic will get back underway in the Scottish Premiership with a visit to Easter Road against kind of high-flying Hibs. They have kind of tailed off a little bit over the last few weeks or so, but still a tough game for us. John, I'll get you in first. An interesting one, this kind of the perfect game to come back after the international break.
Perfect. I'm not sure about that. It's a difficult place for us to go. We're just wanting to see some consistency from the team now. We had the result against Motherwell going into the international break. I know there's COVID and pandemic problems with a couple of players again, but I'm really hoping that we can kick on now. There's no international break now to match. There's a good opportunity for the team to string together results.
Yeah, it's a massive chunk of games coming up. We've got 20 odd games over the next few months, and the fixture list probably, dare I say it, a little bit favourable as well. Once we get beyond the game on Saturday, if we can win that, Jackie, against Hibs, you've got a run of home games. I think like Hamilton away, games like that should be able to put a run together, but it probably all starts with that game on Saturday against Hibs.
Yeah, it's a massive start, and obviously the main thing is that players come back unscathed from the international duty. They'll probably come back in drips and drabs Thursday, Friday, so you'll have a lot of time to work with them for Saturday and hope they're fresh and ready to go, because Hibs will be up for it, and they need to be up for the game, making sure we start properly.
What kind of players are you want to see an improvement from over, starting at the Hibs game and moving forward? The likes of Edouard and even Shane Duffy were taken out of the team prior to the international break. Would you expect to see them back, and are they the kind of guys that you really want to see kicking on at this point?
Yeah, you want to see them just get their confidence back. They're playing there, and it must stepping back for it must be a difficult thing to do. There's no fans there. There's no the pressure or the noise, and I think it's no coincidence we've struggled at home mostly. Away we've been fine, but the home games, not having that crowd and the extra man, there's a lot to be said for that. And when everybody's watching on telly, you see every angle, and it's a different thing altogether. But the players have to handle that. They have to handle the fallout from mistakes and go back to basics. It's the concentration levels need to be on a premium, and make sure that they cut the silly mistakes out and just go and play their game. We know that they can play that well and cause teams problems, as we've seen in certain games.
I think Neil Lennon's got a huge call to make at the weekend as well, because you take Duffy and Edouard out of the team for Motherwell. They're two of your most high profile players, but effectively the team played better without them than with them. It's does he stick with a winning selection, or does he bring Edouard back into things? How would you go with it on Saturday?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think for me, that they've obviously the team's done well without them. It's a good problem for Neil to have, rather than looking for solutions to win matches. He's got a team that's just played well and done well and won comfortably against Motherwell. Again, another tricky place to go, but came through it really well in the end. So I don't see why he would need to change it. As I said, unless the players coming back from international, there's one or two that are struggling a little bit or picked up little knocks, and hopefully that's not the case.
Edouard's our best player, we all know that, so I'd be kind of 50-50 about putting him back in. For me, there's no way you can start Shane Duffy, and I don't mean that to be harsh, or I've been well kind of documented as a bit of a Duffy, I don't want to use the word hater because that's very harsh, but I'm not a fan of him at the moment. But I just don't see how you can put him into that game on Saturday against a Kevin Nisbet, or even the fella Gullen if he plays. Really good movement. I think that's a tough game to put him into when he's struggling for confidence. Now I don't know what other options we'll have there. It seems like Ayer should be there. Beaton should probably be able to play as well. So for me, you go with that same backline that played against Motherwell. They did okay. I think there was question marks over Beaton for the goal, but I don't think you can throw Duffy in. But I think Edouard's a different debate. I mean, how many times have we seen him in big games after international breaks get back into it?
But can we afford to wait for him to hit a hot streak? There's points in the line here. I don't know if we can afford to wait.
Well, think going to Easter Road's it's a different game as well. It should be a bit more open. I think the game with Hibs at home was quite an open game. It was actually a good game to watch. Duffy, get pushed aside a couple of times for Nisbet, which would be a worry. So he might not change that. And I think there'd probably be more space for Edouard if he does start. And that's what he thrives on, is having that space. I think he struggles more when there's teams, everybody's behind the ball and there's no space to turn and run at them. If he's got a chance to go 1v1, that's usually his strongest. And he may have a chance to do that against Hibs.
I don't want to bring it back to the whole midfield debate in Scott Brown, because I've actually bored myself with all that part over the last couple of months. But it was notable for me that Callum McGregor played excellently for Scotland against Serbia, and I felt it was probably because he had Ryan Jack beside him. And that's a concern for me coming back for this game too, whether the McGregor-Brown midfield works or we need McGregor and someone else.
Yeah, I mean, I like Brown in the team. I think he's got to be used wisely. I think the Rangers have been rotating their midfield. Davis has not played all the games. He's used them in certain games and brought them on in other ones, European. And it's a lot to ask when you start getting that recovery. It is, but Bruni should be fit and fresh for this weekend. Yeah. If it's a midweek game, how quickly, and that as you get older, that's what stops your career, is the recovery. It takes longer to recover and get your muscles back and everything else back after the game. So I think he has to use Scott wisely. But I'd like to see other ones given a chance. Tumbo, I like to look of from one of the games he came on. When he started the next game, I didn't think he looked as assured. But and that's the thing, when you come to Celtic, you don't have 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 games. If 1 in 1, you need to perform at a certain level every game, if you want to stay in the team.
Turnbull's got extra motivation now as well, because he's going to have any hope of making the Euro squad next year. He needs to play consistently for Celtic.
Yeah, and I think that will be the case with quite a few of them. They want to be involved, but this is their bread and butter. This is their Celtic's more important just now than the Euros next summer. They have to focus on winning games for their club, which if they do well enough for that, then they'll be picked for international.
I think Scott Brown might do all right on Saturday. Jackie mentioned the home game against Hibs, and thinking back, that was probably one of his better performances this season. I think, John, you used the phrase he wasn't redundant. That was the reason you gave for why he was good, because he had something to do in the game. He had to break up Hibs' attacks because they actually came out and played, and if they did that at Parkhead, they're going to do it again on Saturday, I would assume, unless Jack Ross changes his game plan.
I actually thought he was alright against Motherwell as well. It was more just seeing how impressive McGregor was for Scotland. I want to see the best of McGregor for Celtic as well.
You actually want Callum to pass the ball to Callum further forward. He's got that creativity in the final third that can unlock defences, and sometimes you need that when you're playing against teams that sit in, and that back to 4. You don't really need 2 sitters or 1 sitter all the way back, moving things around. So, but I think the Hibs game will be different. I think it'll be open. I do.
What have you made of Hibs in so far this season, Jackie? Because they started really well. They've really tailed off over the last wee while, albeit they did beat Dundee at the weekend. But they've got some good players there. They have,
yeah. They've I thought at times there they've shown that they've got a few older players in certain positions. In Easter Roads, it's a big pitch. I think Hibs were good a couple of years ago when Neil was there. He had legs. He had good legs in his team. Boyle could run the ball. McGinn, he could break as well. The other one sitting around, and I think that was his strong part. They've got Malin in there in the middle of the park. I think he's quite good. His set pieces are good. He's got a good strike in him. But I don't think he's going to hurt you in behind, or he's going to break from midfield. He's got real legs in there, and I think that's up front. Nisbet, I think, has done well for them. He's got 9 goals now so far this season. I'd seen a lot of him last year. He was at Dunfermline, and I knew that he would go up higher and he should be able to score. He's got that little bit extra, maybe motivation. After being released from Partick Thistle a few years ago, and he's worked his way up from Raith Rovers to Dunfermline to Hibs, and I don't think that'll be the end of it. I think if he wants to go further, he could. He's got a little bit of pace, a little extra wee bit that'll help him if he wants to go and kick on.
Yeah, I was actually wanting to pick your brains a little bit about Nisbet, because obviously you have that Dunfermline connection. You will have known, for me, there's some similarities between Nisbet, Shankland, and their career progress than someone the likes of Lee Griffiths. And not to put you on the spot, but could you see Nisbet raising his game to the level of perhaps being a future Celtic player, or what would he need to do to kind of catch the eye of a Celtic manager?
I think he's got it in his locker if he wants it. It's it's like anything else. If how much do they want that extra bit? Busting a gut. Because I think he's got good vision. He holds the ball up well. He's quite strong. As I said, he has got a ton of pace, which I think he's got above Shankland. I think that's where Shankland struggles a little bit. Just that extra yard in the top leagues. But Shankland's a very, very good finisher as well. He's shown over the years. But Nisbet he's done it the last few years now. He's scored a lot of goals. He knows where to be at the right time. He has got the potential, if he wants it, to go and have a really good career.
Is he a Hibs leaning fan? Is he Hearts? Is he Celtic Rangers? Do you know this, Jackie?
I actually think I might be wrong. I thought he was more Celtic, but I'm not 100%.
There's a wee exclusive. Jackie McNamara says
that'll be,
Kevin
if
Nisbet.
he signs for Rangers, that clip will be going everywhere, Jackie. You better watch out.
I might be wrong. But he said he was at Partick Thistle as a kid, and I think his fitness was one of the issues, and then he get released, and Raith Rovers took a chance on him, and had done really well. He done really well for them, and he done well for Dunfermline. They only had him for a year last year.
I like him. As you know, he does have pace, but he's also got that little bit of strength about his game as well, which I like. I'm actually a big fan of him. I'm keen to see how he does, consistently in the Premiership. And if he wants to move to a bigger club like Celtic or Rangers or down to England, then these are the games that he needs to shine in against Celtic. So you'd expect him to be extra motivated, especially if he's wanting to push towards the Scotland squad again for the Euros next year. Yeah,
well, there's players who said, we've been blessed with lots of strikers over the last few years for Scotland. Lyndon Dykes obviously is decided to play for Scotland, which is good, and he's done really well for us. A target man, but he was at Queen of South a couple of years ago in the Championship as well. He gets an opportunity with Livingston, gets the games under his belt at Livingston, and then kicks on again. So, the opportunity is there for Nisbet and guys like him to do that.
Do we think Jack Ross plays Josh Doig again against Jeremy Frimpong after what happened last time?
Well, Frimpong annihilated him, didn't he? That would be a big call. I actually don't think he will. I think he'll play Stevenson, is it? So I'm not sure what you think about that, Jackie. Frimpong had him on toast last time.
He did, yeah. I was seeing that he played at the weekend, the young lad, again, but I think
he made a mistake, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he'll change it back, especially, as you said, Easter Road's a big pitch. There's a lot of space there, and I think if you get legs in the team, you can cause them problems.
I think Celtic are going to win. What about you, John?
Yeah, I think we will as well. I think we're well placed to cope with Boyle. Obviously the Nisbet battle with whoever the defenders are will be crucial, and we've got the players on that big pitch at Easter Road to cause problems. I think if we played the 4-2-3-1, I think we could be onto a winner. I would fancy us to win 3-1 or something like that. Yeah.
Hopefully, Jackie, you're going to complete the set.
Yeah, I'm confident. I think, as I said, I hope Hibs do have a go, because I think it could be a good match. But I think from middle to front, the 4-2-3-1 system we spoke about, I think with logic, Christie breaking and Elyounoussi, if he's playing, the three there could cause him big problems running at them.
Right, so that's Hibernian against Celtic, 3 o'clock on Saturday. Remember, it is a 3 o'clock kick-off. Remember, it's not on Sky Sports. If you want to see the game legally you'll have to go through Hibernian's pay-per-view service. But if you just want to get the reaction after the game, I think, John, you'll be with me, won't you, about 5 o'clock or something on Saturday evening? I know we've not actually discussed this yet, but I'll put it out there.
Yeah, I thought you were away to start selling an IPTV service there.
Nah, not quite. We'll see how this goes. But we should be there with the reaction on Saturday, hopefully looking back on a Celtic win.